relationship between interest rate. Give a star mark and write it down, okay? And exchange rate. So what is the relationship? If interest rate falls, less people or if interest rate falls in an economy, that particular economy will become less attractive to investors. So investors will sell the currency of that economy. And when they will sell the currency, then what will happen? Home currency, that is the country in which interest rate has fallen, okay, will depreciate. Foreign currency will appreciate. Foreign currency means currency of rest of the world, okay? Because in comparison to other country, India is less preferable now. If you have any confusion, you can write India in case of economy. If interest rate falls in India, India will become less attractive. See, in bracket just write India, okay, so that you don't get confused. So India will become less attractive to investor. If India will become less attractive to investor, what they will do? They will sell Indian rupee. So if they will sell Indian rupee, then home currency, that is Indian rupee, will fall. And foreign currency means all other currency, dollar, euro, pound, yen, okay? All other currency will appreciate. Notes as in the, I will write down everything in the board. Is there anything till now in which you feel that there is something for which you need notes? See, as we move ahead, whatever note is necessary, I will give. I will write it down on the board itself. Is there anything till now which particular in this chapter? So see, as far as any chapter is concerned, I will write down everything on the board. What I can do is, if you are finding it a bit more technical, then you can tell me in any specific topic where you want me to write more, right? Till now, is there anything which you feel for which you need notes? Whatever we have discussed till now. Moving ahead, I will ask you in every topic, wherever you need more notes, I will write it down or I will give you dictation. But till now, is there anything for which you need notes? See, we have discussed relationship between interest rate and aggregate demand. We have seen relationship between interest rate and exchange rate. We have seen relationship between exchange rate and export and import. Apart from that, yesterday we have discussed what is inflation, impact of inflation, and components of interest rate. Don't worry about the upcoming topics. Till now, is there anything for which you feel that your note is incomplete? Please go through your notebook and let me know. Yes, no. Can we move ahead? Sorry, I was also not able to see any communication. Just a moment. Before you give point wise. Yeah, so see, don't worry. With regard to notes, be rest assured. Whatever places where I'm sure that you need notes from me, I will write it on the board. Okay, it will not be any incomplete discussion where after end of the class you will have to search for notes. Okay, but apart from that, in case along with the topic, if you find any particular topic as incomplete, then you can let me know that for this particular topic you need more notes, or from my end I will make sure that everything is written on the board. See, we have just started with the chapter of inflation. This chapter is going to be continued for next 3-4 hours. Okay, so maybe you are not that much connected to the chapter, so you may feel that notes is incomplete. But as we move ahead, everything will be given to you, or everything will be written on the board. So just go through topic wise. For that particular topic, if you think note is incomplete, let me know. And after that also, once the chapter ends, I will give you enough time. When we will move ahead to other chapters, you can go through previous chapter. And if you find anywhere in your notes, like what you can do is from now only you can start, go through the previous classes and see that is there any part in the class note in which you are feeling that note is not complete, or is there anything for which you want additional note. You can just tell me the topic. I will in upcoming classes I will take up that particular topic even if it has been done in the previous class, and I will give you more notes on that. Okay, there is no issue in that. With each topic you can tell me. If you are not able to find it with each topic, when you will revise your notes in between syllabus, then also you can tell me that for this particular topic you need more notes. Okay, from my end I will take care that I leave no topic in such a way that after class is over you have to search for note. Okay, I will not leave you in that situation, but in case you need additional note, please ping me with the topic or when you revise the topic. Okay, see, we have just started. Once we will finish the chapter, then you will yourself realize that the note that has been given to you in the class is more than sufficient. So deflation is over. Now next topic is disinflation. Now suppose price of commodity in 2014 was 100, in 2015 112, in 2016 108. Okay, now tell me, with regard to 2014, prices in 2015 and okay, let's not take this example. Tell me what is the rate of inflation from 14 to 15? What is the rate of inflation? 12%. And from 15 to 16? From 15 to 16? Let me also check. Okay, it is coming 7%. Now please look at this two data. Okay, 100 to 112 to 120 and 12 to 7%. Price has increased or price has decreased? Price has increased. Inflation has increased or inflation has decreased? No. Earlier in year 2014 to 15 inflation was 12%. 15 to 16 inflation is 7%. So rate of inflation has increased or decreased? Decreased. So price has increased but inflation has decreased. See, there is difference between price and inflation. Inflation has decreased. Point is, price is continuously rising, but the see what is inflation? Inflation is nothing. It is just the magnitude of change in price. That is to what extent price is changing. Earlier it was changing by 12%. Now it is changing by 7%. So inflation is nothing. Inflation just tells you the magnitude of change. That is to what extent price is changing. Okay. So what we are seeing is that price has still increased. Now forget this part. If price has increased, can you call it deflation? Forget this part. If price has increased, can you call it deflation? No, you can never call it deflation. But at the same time, what you are seeing is that inflation is decreased. Earlier, inflation in the economy was 12%. Now it is 7%. So when price has increased, but inflation has decreased, then combination of these two things is called disinflation. Disinflation means inflation is coming down. Okay? Inflation is coming down. See, prices are still rising because we still have inflation. Nowhere the word deflation is used. It is disinflation. So inflation is used here. It means price has to rise. Inflation is reducing. Okay? But it does reduce in inflation does not mean price has to reduce, because if price reduce, you cannot call it inflation at all. So if I am saying that price has increased, then it has to be inflation, but it is disinflation. Why disinflation? Because inflation has reduced. So the magnitude with which your price was rising is reduced. Okay, maybe now say it increased by just 5%. So 5% of 120 will become your 6 rupees. So if it becomes 126, so it will become 5%. So prices are rising continuously every year, but the magnitude is falling. Okay? Is it clear? Now point is, disinflation can tomorrow become deflation. One day inflation can become zero and then it can become deflation. Another thing, at present it is not deflation, it is disinflation. So what is the condition for disinflation? Price has to increase, but the rate of increase has to decrease. Okay? Is it clear? Do you want me to write any definition or you will be able to understand with this example? Okay. If the magnitude with which price increases falls, then we call it disinflation. In or simply say fall in inflation means deflation. Sorry, disinflation. But prices are still rising in bracket. Please write it down. Now what can be the causes of disinflation? Okay, please write the definition and let me know. Okay, now what can be the cause of disinflation? If you compare, just tell me one thing, have you ever compared the price of a commodity in physical store and in an online store? Have you ever compared the price of commodity in online websites and in physical store? Have you ever compared? Yes. So which price you find is lower, or which price have you noticed to be lower? Online. Can you tell me the reason? Okay, middleman is one thing. Can I say that because they do not have to set up a physical store, so their operating cost reduces because they do not have to pay that much rent? They only have to maintain warehouse. So point is, can I conclude that technological improvement or technological innovation reduces the price? See, inflation will be there, price will increase, but if you compare offline online, then the general level of price has came down. So one of the reason for disinflation can be technological improvement. In order to conduct these classes, I have to buy high speed internet connection. Now tell me one thing, if the price of internet connection will fall down, will the price of coaching class, with the price to conduct this coaching class will come down, or it will not come down? No. Why? If the price of the input that I am using, that is if the price of internet connection that I am using comes down, will the final price that I am charging from student will come down, or it will not come down? It will come down, right? Because my input cost is going down. So another reason for disinflation is fall in input prices. I'm not sure if you have noticed or not, at one time crude was valued at $100, more than 100, okay? It was greater than $100. Then it came down to as low as $30. And now it is somewhere in 50-60 range, okay? So point is, if the price of crude oil is falling, then what will happen? Anything that you produce from that crude will also fall, okay? So if the price of input will come down, then the price of final goods will also come down. Is it clear? One last reason for disinflation is increase in supply. If at the same level of demand, more people are supplying same commodity, then the price of that commodity will go down. Okay, suppose if demand is for 100 commodity, but 500 people are selling that same commodity, then if supply will increase demand, then price will fall down. Okay. So what are the causes of disinflation? Technological improvement, fall in input price, increase in supply. Okay. See, there can be miscellaneous point like infrastructure growth and other thing. I'm not writing that. I'm just giving you a broad idea. that why disinflation can occur. So this is not a hypothetical situation. Okay, see, deflation is also not a hypothetical situation. Despite Japan being such a big economy, faces deflation. Okay, and US and Western countries keep fearing that their economy don't slip into deflation. So they keep on reducing interest rate and they keep interest rate nearly at zero. Okay, near zero, 0.25, 0.5%. That is the level of interest rate. If you go and invest your money in America, you will not get 7-8% like we get in banks in India. Okay, so disinflation is also very real thing which can happen. Now next topic in our discussion is causes of inflation. Okay, please give the heading causes of inflation. Now there can be two causes because of which inflation is there or prices are rising. Demand pull inflation or cost push inflation. Suppose your salary increase from 1 lakh rupees to 1,50,000. Now tell me, with this increase in salary, your consumption will increase, or could you any possible continue next class? I mean, you wish to stop the class here? Sorry, Durga Prasad, that is not possible. Okay, just bear with me for 20 more minutes. Okay, I will leave you 5 minutes early. That much I can do. Okay. Okay, so tell me, your consumption will increase. So can I say that demand will increase? Can I say that your demand will increase? Now what will happen when demand will increase, then the price which you are chasing, that will also increase, because it is not only that your salary will increase from 1 lakh to 1,50,000, salary of all the people in the economy will increase. So everybody will demand, say, Apple's iPhone. So if everybody will demand the same commodity, then what will happen? It will create the situation of excess demand. Okay, it will create the situation of excess demand. That is, your demand will be greater than supply. So if demand is greater than supply, then more people are chasing the same commodity. So increase in demand will result to increase in price. Okay, is it clear? So one of the reason for rise in prices is if people keep on demanding, or if more people keep on demanding the same commodity, then the prices will go up. There is one real example which happened in India, was with regard to M-Narega. Do you know what was M-Narega? Do you know what was M-Narega? Or what is M-Narega? So, okay. So basically it is a wage employment guarantee scheme where if you do not have job, then 100 days of job will be guaranteed by the government to you. So as a result of this M-Narega, what happened is that income of the people increased, especially in rural areas. So if they do not have the job, they can go to the government and government will give them job of 100 days. So if their job has increased, their income has increased. With the increase in income, they increase the demand for the food. Now, the supply of food was static, but the demand for food, especially protein food, increased. So as a result, in 2008, 9, 10, India faced very high food inflation because of this M-Narega. Because income of people has increased, but supply was same. So as a result, more people were demanding same amount of protein food. And because the number of people increasing, that protein food increases, India faced high food inflation for consecutive 3-4 years. Okay. So for anything, if demand will increase, price is bound to increase. Now cost push inflation. Now one of the reason for disinflation I have given you that if price of input material goes down. Now suppose tomorrow the price of rent that I am paying for this room which I have taken on hire to teach you, the price I am paying for internet, the price I am paying for electricity, if the cost of all this input will go up, then obviously my final price will also go up. If price of all the inputs will go up, then final price will also go up. Okay. So cost push inflation is when price of input increases. So if there is excess demand, then what government should do? Government should reduce demand and increase supply. Yes or no? So I have already told you how to reduce demand by attacking interest rate, increase interest rate so that you can reduce demand. On the other hand, how you can increase supply, reduce the prices of the goods, or in order to increase the supply, reduce the taxes on those goods. In order to increase supply, facilitate more production, make the environment more enable, increase the import for short period of time. Okay. Point is, excess demand can be tackled from two ways. This is demand greater than supply. So on one hand, try to reduce the demand. See, demand is here, supply is here, right? So you can attack both the components. Try to bring demand to this level and try to bring supply to this level. So as a result, both will come equal here. Demand is equal to supply. So on one hand, government can try to reduce demand. On the other hand, government try to increase the supply. Okay. How you can control this area? You can control this area by reduce the wage negotiating power of labor so that they cannot charge more wage. Reduce the level of interest rate in the economy. Reduce the amount of rent that is charged. Okay. So as a result, what will happen? Input price will come down. If there is any bottleneck for particular raw material, then reduce the bottleneck so that the supply of raw material increases. Is it clear? Okay. Now in this there were two views. Okay. Before 1970, this was the view, or this was the this kind of discussion used to happen with regard to inflation. Okay. That all the measures that I have told you, that reduce demand, increase supply, or reduce wage negotiating power, reduce rent, this kind of discussion used to happen. Okay. This was your Keynesian school of economics. So you do not have to bother with the name, but this was the discussion that used to happen before 1970. But after 1970, there was a school of thought, monetarist school of thought. Now, monetarist school of thought, what they are saying is very relevant for our context. What they are saying is all this discussion is useless. Kill demand, increase supply, take wage negotiating, all this is nonsense. Okay, this doesn't, just forget all this thing. So then we will ask them, so what are you suggesting? They are simply saying one thing. Reason for all this thing is money supply. So I will ask them, what is money supply? Now what they are saying is that you are saying demand pull inflation is there. That is, demand has increased. Now they are saying that why this demand has increased. If your salary has increased from 1 lakh to 1,50,000, then what is the reason because of which your salary has increased? They are saying that your salary has increased because government is printing more currency. Money supply in the economy has increased. Money supply has increased. If the government has not printed more money, you would not have get extra money to increase the demand. If your salary has increased, if you have created a situation of excess demand, then you are able to do so because money supply has increased. So they are simply saying all this discussion on excess demand, demand greater than supply is nothing. It shorter downs or filters all the discussion to one thing: money supply has increased. If there is inflation in the economy, it is the money supply that is the culprit. Because money supply has increased, there is demand pull inflation. Basically for them, whether it is demand pull or it is cost push, reason is one: money supply. What they are saying is that because government has printed more currency, your employer is able to give you more money, and that's why your salary has increased, so you are increasing the demand. So what is the reason for demand pull inflation? Money supply. Is it clear? How money supply is the reason for cost push inflation, I will tell you that also. But how money supply is the reason for demand pull inflation is clear. Okay, it is clear. Now what is cost push inflation? Cost push inflation is when prices of input increases. It means the money that I am paying for this consumption of internet has increased. The money that I am paying for this rent, electricity, everything is increased. Now I get confused. Now I am going to this monetarist school of thought and I am telling this economist that see, here money supply is not doing anything. These people are charging me more price, that's why I have to increase the price. Now again their argument is, if these people have increased the price, how are you as a producer able to pay them? I as a producer is able to pay them more money only because my customers are paying me more money. Because students are paying more money to the producer, producer is able to pay more money for the input prices. So how customers or how consumers are able to pay more money? Consumers are able to pay more money again because money supply has increased. Just think like this, okay? Here is a producer of oil. From oil, say from crude, you are making petrol. From crude, you are making petrol. Okay, this petrol is used by consumer. Now discussion here is that because price of crude has increased, price of petrol has increased. This is my argument. So those people who are saying that this is because of money supply, they are saying even if the price of petrol will increase, they will not pay the higher price because this consumer do not have money to pay. If this consumer are able to pay for higher price, then obviously there is increase in money supply. These people have more money, that's why they are able to pay. Otherwise, if this people, this consumer will not have more money, then no matter how much price of crude will increase, no one will pay for it, and ultimately producer of crude will have to reduce the price. So if the price of crude has increased and if the price is maintained at that level, then it is because consumer are able to pay. And if consumer are able to pay, then it means price, money supply must have increased in the economy. Because if money supply will not increase, then this consumer will never have the purchasing power to buy this commodity at a higher price. Is it clear? Let me write it down. Reason is again increase in money supply. How? So answer is, even if the price of input has increased, consumer will be able to pay that price only when the money supply or when the money available with them increases. After here I am continuing here. Okay, if money available with the consumer increases, then it means that money supply has increased. Please write it down and let me know. Okay, just forget this discussion for the time being. Just think about yourself. Your income is fixed. Forget everything. You just think that your income is fixed. It is not increasing. No matter how much prices of the goods will increase, will you be able to pay for them if your income will not increase? Will you be able to pay if your income is not increasing? Suppose tomorrow price of fruits, vegetable, laptop, mobile, everything that you have to buy, education, healthcare increases. But will you be able to afford? If the income of consumer is not increasing, they will not be able to pay for it. And if they will not be able to pay for it, price will come down. But if they are able to pay for it, then definitely their income has increased. And if their income has increased, then there has to be a point from where money has been injected into the economy, because if your income will not increase, you will not pay. So if your income has increased, then obviously somewhere money has been injected in the economy, because if money will not be injected in the economy, then how will you get more money to pay for the goods and services? Is it clear? Okay. So basically what they want to say is that forget everything. Demand pull, cost push is nothing. What their argument is that inflation is simply equal to increase in money supply over and above the level of increase in real output. So what they are saying here is that if your economy's output is say 7% and your money supply has increased by 9%, that is your economy is growing by 7% but the money supply has increased by 9%, then this 2% is going to create inflation in the economy. So they are simply saying if ever at any point of time money supply increases your output, then this difference MS minus output is equal to inflation. If money supply is less than output, then it will cause deflation. If money supply is greater than output, it will cause inflation. Okay.